Introducing in the worldwide first event you've all been waiting for. In this corner, we have weighing in at 3.1415 926 535 897 9323 84 626 433 83
Bazinga!
7 pounds approximately. He's the crowd favorite. He is your very lit horse. He's a lit horse today. He's not the dark one. He's also a big fucking nerd. It's science. And in this corner, weighing, he's on a diet of, carrots? Broccoli? Is it? Okay, is that right? Is that his name? Is that the right name? Do we got the right name? Yeah, it's me. It's me. It's me. Niche. It's Mischa.
Bazinga!
What's going on out there? Yeah.
Let's get ready to rumble!
Let's get this thing going, okay? Let's do this. I'm stoked. Are you stoked? Yeah. Come on, let's get it. Come on, let's get it rocking. Okay, so I'm just gonna we're gonna get ready to rumble here. Okay, we gotta wait for the bell. 1 sec. Wait. I guess I'll explain the rules or what even is going on currently. I'm gonna just debunk science quick. All right? Okay, you guys sit here. Okay, I'm gonna go get him. I'm gonna get him. Okay, you stay here. Okay. So to start off, round 1, bang. Okay, here I come. Oh. Okay, so Schrodinger's cat? Schrodinger? Okay, how is this credible science? This is a horror movie. It's a horror movie. This isn't science. Like, they can't even experiment this. You can't. It doesn't... This is inhumane. You don't just put... You just want to put cats in things and guess if they're there or not. It doesn't prove anything. It doesn't do anything. It's torture. Torturing the thing. Superposition. Yeah, it's in superposition, right? No, you put the cat in the box. It's there. It's, you can't see it. This is exactly what it's not about. Yeah, but so no, just no. I disagree. It's not science. Like, you're not. I forgot what I was gonna say about Schrodinger's cat, to be honest. But that's really what it is. It's not science. That's scary. It's a scary idea. Like, what are you talking about? Okay, round two. Okay, this is where like, so like science actually proves itself wrong, just right in its own material. Science it did it. It did. He had to do it to himself, I guess. Whoa. So the thing about that is, so when you look at something, when you're in physical reality, right? When you're in physical reality, and you're like, okay, I gotta go figure something out, right? Well, reality's got to give you something, right? It does. If you set your intention, I'm gonna go figure out, find out about the birds and the bees. You'll find some birds. You'll find some bees. I'll tell you that much. And when you're looking at, so the double-blind experiment, right? You heard about this. This is like where, so when you're looking at something, it changes its outcome. So this is like, science, right? You're only getting 1% of the stimulus in your, how can you get anything out of that? You are limited. You're extremely limited. And going smaller onto things, discovering smaller and smaller Russian nesting dolls in your quarks and your poons and your tangs. They don't do shit. Don't do shit. It just shows that, oh, it gets smaller. What does that do? Are you talking quantum? Are we quantum? Yeah, we're going quantum. We are quantum. We are quantum. It's just, it's another word for like intuition, really, I guess, I think. Yeah, presence, timelessness, quantumness. Tums. I'm gonna need some Tums after this one. Okay, so, yeah, like, so, but the double-blind experiment, right? It goes through the electrons move differently when there is an observer, and that it shows that, yeah, experiment is going to be skewed because you can't observe something and change its outcome, or the observer makes a difference on the outcome. And another thing, like when you're doing these studies, right, to go along with this idea that I'm on a train with, on a little, where I'm dipsy, giving the doodle and the dipsy here, where like, if you, so you do a study, right? You get a group, you curate a group of kids, right, to do a study. Kids, you give them a lot of money, get a study done, right? Go get a study. They get their donuts, they get their coffee, right? And then they go do the thing. They do the study, and it shows, it proves, or it gives you a statistic, right? 1 in 5 kids like turtles, or no, that's not. That's a horrible example. So I'll just say, like, so the fact that just because you do a study doesn't mean that outcome that you got really says anything. It's, I mean, maybe could give you like an idea of something, but it doesn't. A statistic doesn't really ever. A number doesn't show anything of what actually goes on ever, really. They're all isolated scenarios that they're curating with their co-creative abilities together. We want to find this outcome. Well, yeah, reality's going to show you something. It's got to show you something to prove you, or something, because you're the Imagineer, you know. You have started the thing, right? And so, in that sense, yeah, science, you can observe things, but that's as far as you can go. You get you get one thing, you get one little snippet, and when you're zoomed in that far, you can't see you can't see the big picture, and I will recover this word, the nuance. The nuance, you can't see the nuance of what's going on. When you're zoomed in, you don't see the picture. You don't see the puzzle. You just get one little piece. And look at shape. That must mean all the other pieces fit just so well together with that one piece that we found. It looks like, oh yeah, that's the lady's handbag. She's knitting something on the porch. But what if the puzzle isn't? What if the puzzle isn't someone sewing? It's they're they're LARPing. What if they're LARPing, or they're actually fishing, or it's just a different puzzle. Okay. Okay, round three. Okay, here we go. So entropy, right? Entropy. So that's not what's going on. Entropy. That's like rule number 1, right? It's like you from chaos you get more and more order. Or wait, is it the other way around? Boom happens, big boom, and then it only gets more chaotic, right? I should probably do research, maybe some minor prep. Let's see here. Entropy, randomness. Yeah. So when it only gets more chaotic. When the big boom happens, it only it becomes more and more chaotic and unpredictable. That's not what I am observing. I think there's like quite a bit of complexity and order. Things kind of fit well with each other, actually. I think, personally, I think we can, I think we can do this thing. I feel compatible, with this this boxing match. I feel this boxing match really has made us closer as pals. I feel like we're just a lot closer, whatever that means to me and you together. Round 3. Right. Life from no life, right? So how does that work? Can anyone Right, so the lightning, or is it a lightning bolt? You're right. He was crouched over with his apple under the tree, and he was flying a kite, and the lightning struck, and inspiration. The first little tadpole or little sea monkey crawled from a rock, or like where does life come from if there was no life before it? Right? Because there'd have to be consciousness, right? So if there wasn't consciousness before, right? Then where did how does that work? Like if it's all just chemicals or just flying through space, and it's just a big shiz sandwich, and there's no it's just entropy, it's just chaos. How does life fit into that? Yeah, it just doesn't work. It doesn't work. I don't buy it. I don't buy it. Where does it come from, right? And so how I see science is like, it's the process. It's your own process that goes through you. It's not whatever's going on your television. Like, there is real science, but what we've been presented and subscribing to generally, there's a lot of holes in the logic. It doesn't even go by its own rules most of the time, actually. And like, where does all the money go, or what? Like, how does it really how has it improved our lives? And don't tell me, oh, we got more technology, because, I mean, clearly there's technology that's just being held back and just, like, slowly leaked. Like, I don't even have to prove that. Like, the Army, or the Navy, or the guys in the big planes that are subtly patrolling the skies of cities, they clearly have access to more technology than the lay man, So, like, stuff's held back, for sure, and for a lot of reasons, There's a very large gatekeeping thing going on at a massive scale. Definitely. Yeah. So on that note, so there's definitely entities, like some type of consciousness, people here that understand and have understood how reality works on a very base level for quite some time, like before, whenever this is, before they're around, like, they just, so what goes on, what I see, like, so they just get them to, like, they get them the funds, right? They put them on the path, because they already have the answers, so they get the guys in the chonky glasses and the big coats, the white coats, and give them billions upon trillions of dollars to regurgitate information that's just passed down through in universities for millennia, or however long, whatever the script or story is being put out to keep the thing going. That's what they just shove money out there, because they already know the answers.
Bazinga!
They don't have to. It's a big smoke screen. They'll just let's put out, and it gives it credibility because there's so much money behind it. Like, for what I'm talking about specifically is people definitely know how to cure cancer or like anything like that, right? And I'm talking about of course, bot, Chad, the GPTs. I'm definitely talking about the zodiac sign. Cure them. We need to cure those poor cancers. Oh man.
Bazinga!
They're, yeah. The on one. The on two ones. At least 2 ones. They are on. Yeah. So yeah. What does all this science do for the person, the real person? It just makes everything more complicated. Like, and I'm not even like. That's usually like what seniors would say, right? Are just you young at heart, You it just makes everything more complicated, and it does make, and it's increasingly more beastly in its immoderation, or just moderating our day-to-day doings. There's not anything that we do now that isn't kind of intermingled with technology, and in a way that it can definitely be hampered. Whatever that means. I've never like you said hampering. It's hampering your your laundry. It's stopping you from doing your laundry sometimes. It's jamming. It's jamming the Simpsons. It's jamming the Simpsons. The Simpsons, bro. It's jamming your Simpsons. Yeah. You're jammed. You jammed your Simpsons. You jammed your Simps. You're getting your Simps jammed. A lot of Simps are getting jammed out there. Yeah. So, like, there's no. What are the results to all this research or perceived, or like, where does all this money go with it to help the real person? Like, you get an iPhone 15. Like, yeah, I guess that's pretty good. But every year, like, it doesn't actually. Does it really improve your life having a phone? No matter how technologically advanced it is, does it? Do it really? Like, pretty sure it's just kind of I don't know. It's like a name tag, or like, yeah. Oh, I'm disturbing myself. Yeah, but the name tag's a scary idea. Yeah. So, like, all this science that we talk about is like cool and awesome and whoa. It goes nowhere. It really goes nowhere. Nowhere at all. And like, it doesn't improve society. And it hasn't. Or, like, there's definitely stuff that could. I'll tell you that much. Yeah, that's I'm gonna go say that's a knockout right there. It's over. It's over, science. That's right. You're gonna come back in the ring next time. You meet me in the ring. Adrian. Adrian. Oh. Adrian. That's good. What's the clock? What's the clock at? How long did it take? How long did it take? 23. Okay, that's like the right amount of time for like a B match, Like say GG. GG Cy-Hog. Hey guys, so now since we've done 3 to 4 episodes now, I'm gonna do a roundup, a few footnotes to go along with some of the info or my presentations I've done so far. So the first one, we briefly touched about politics, and kind of what I was just getting at is that being informed, this idea of being informed and having all the stuff broadcast flowing through you at once, you know, like having all the information, or as they're presented, the events unfolding. That's a scam. Being informed is a scam. Having knowledge of all these so-called events really is going on to me is that it gives the idea, creates the idea that you have to know all this stuff, and that it what it really is doing is putting you on a certain frequency to that it can have all these other frequencies go through you, and you just accept them and allow them through you, basically creating some sort of singularity. There's no boundaries to what you'll accept and allow into your heart-centered reality. And that's why politics and all that, it's a slippery game. Because who knows what it's actually trying to engineer you towards, and more especially on the subtle side of things, right? Is what I'm touching on. Yeah. So, and another big part of that, what I was going to say is that all this news, it's new, it's implying that it's new. It's not. It's all olds. Somebody's, like, something, first, for a news event, something has to happen, then somebody has to be there, and then someone has to write it down, then has to get approved, and this is what all this stuff that's going on before it gets to the consumer, aka you. So when you break that down and see what actually comes out the other side, what is actually presented in the end, especially with its like negative not even undertone, it's just very negative. To think of how much of a process it takes to get to you, the consumer, and then to have the finished product to look and feel and be as it is quite, to me, alarming. And I would recommend awareness on that part, if you so choose. Yeah. And then, so the second episode, the second part of that episode actually was where we talked about the two different frequencies and how all the music was tuned to a different frequency around when. So I actually talked to someone named Carl. He wanted to be credited. He explained it quite well. I'm not going to be able to explain it, other than the fact that the 432 is actually occurs in nature. That frequency actually occurs in nature naturally. It naturally occurs in nature, so that's why it's actually better. And I can definitely see where he's coming from, and I've experienced where certain types of music that I play or that is popular in certain in raves and whatnot, it definitely can make you anxious and nervous or aggressive. I've seen people become aggressive pretty much because of the music, in a sense. But that's because their own frequency is kind of skewed already. So as much as like I definitely agree, I see where he's coming from, and I see the effect and why it would be a thing for sure, especially the nature thing. But that doesn't discount the positive parts of modern music or any sort of music like that. And I'm not going to be able to explain how it actually works, the tuning of the music on a whole. It's not actually the chords and the modality and whatnot. It's actually like something else entirely. But it makes sense when I think about like how orchestras and whatnot or older classical music has a different feel to it overall, just by how it's tuned, I guess, or recorded. So yeah, that's kind of just a note on that. And then the whole next episode, we talked about druggers, and in the drugger kind of theme, not too many notes. I'd just say, yeah, crystal meth is bad. But one we didn't talk about is nicotine, which was pushed by the media and the big wigs for quite some time, and now it's not pushed. One might say, oh, it's because they became health conscious. But actually, I think, well, what I've heard and what I've kind of experience is like nicotine actually helps people focus. It actually helps focusing, and has has more positive effects than we're told. Of course, not like cigarettes and the tar and stuff that they put in. It's not always. That's not great. I don't know. I wouldn't want that consistently. And I'll just say the other part where I said Molly is good. Yeah, it's still good. And something actually with Molly is that for a lot of the other, especially like psychedelics, for psychedelics specifically, psychedelics usually come with a lot of anxiousness and anxiety. Your body, it's hard on your body, right? And it's like can feel like pending doom at times, just because like mushrooms is poisonous, and LSD is like becomes hypersensitive. But when you take like Molly with these, like I believe what's it called, hippie flip or Jedi flip or all those the flippy flips. That's where I think real breakthroughs can occur with those, because it takes away that edge, and the alchemy of it is completely different, and that's the best experiences I've had on those substances. So if you get a chance, and you have the right environment, and maybe the right people to support you, I recommend that. Dr. Misch coming in with the hot takes. Yeah, and then the next episode I did was on time. What I was going to say about that was that basically I didn't mention that you should read The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle if you haven't. It's very short book. It's barely even a book, but it explains it much better than I do, about how time actually, how I think it works, or how I've seen it work. And another interesting note that I didn't really say anything about was that in the new Matrix Resurrections, he like looks in the mirror when the new Morpheus guy is talking about what the Matrix does to him. It's like where he's about to take the pills or whatever, and he sees himself in the mirror, and he looks very aged. And that's what apparently what his appearance was in the Matrix that he was just in. And that's kind of what I think goes on in ours. Just as you may know, the Matrix movies are truth drops. They're dropping truth, and specifically this part where your subscription to time, or the idea, actually ages you. Yeah. And that the Matrix, not just the time part, puts filters over your appearance. It is because, there's a lot of filters going around, and generally negative ones. So that's what I'm kind of getting at, is that your appearance is being warped by the Matrix. People are going to say, oh, what's the big difference? Time, you need it. We need it. We need it to keep her going, right? Well, yeah, that's kind of the idea. Like, that's why it works. The Matrix is kind of an in or out energy. It can't be one or the other. You got to be fully in, you got to be fully out, because the time works when it does it, and when it doesn't, well, that's the thing. When it works and it feels great to go by the time thing, because everything works on time. And then the thing about that is when it's revealed to you at some point that you're actually in a very long negative loop. At some point you make the wrong choice in fear, and then oops, you've been in the Matrix the entire time, and you're on it. You have to do everything again. Not to scare anybody, but I mean, this is a positive of becoming aware of what the Matrix is and possibly escaping it. The idea is also referred to as the Maya, the illusion, or the Dharma, your own escaping Maya through your own Dharma, your own learning about the process. And that's what I would say about escaping the Matrix, because it seems all gravy up until the point where you find you're in the time loop, and it's a really long road. Let's just say that. Okay. Yeah, so those are kind of the main notes. Also, kind of the whole thing about how we live on a big clock. I felt that. At one point when I was on LSD. It was very, very strictly adhering. Everything was moving on it's like one big natural clock with natural, everything has a consciousness attached to it, and everything has little switches. Is it all engineered, or is there a natural aspect? Well, it was hard to say at that point, but yeah. That's where that came from. Yeah. Thanks for listening. Bye-bye.